Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to everyone joining our webinar today. I am Nora Adlina on behalf of Arcadisa, your moderator for tonight's webinar. Before that, I would like to mention that this webinar is supported by Paku Store Enterprise. Now, I am very delighted to introduce our topic as it is very relevant to the nature of our reality today. The title of today's topic is Championing Sustainability Through Virtual Clothing in AI and VR. While the market is experiencing disruptions because of COVID-19, the fashion industry itself is also exacerbating the risk of planetary catastrophes. The fashion industry has a huge impact on our planet from multiple aspects, from fiber production to mining, production, delivery, usage, and disposal. Many fashion shows have gone virtual in creative ways, such as Moschino created a doll fashion show which used cute doll-sized garments were showcased on a runway by marionette dolls, saving the materials and resources that would be needed to host a real-life runway. While that didn't use AI, it shows that even the luxury brands that build most of their brand value in customer experience, prestigious runway shows are willing to shift to the virtual world and do more with less. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Rizita for the welcoming speech.
Okay, thank you, Nur Adilina, for being the moderator for today's session. So firstly, I would like to wish Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to everyone, and also to our distinguished speaker for today's session. I am Associate Professor T.S. Dr. Rista Muhammad Tajuddin, the Head of Postgraduate Studies. Would like to welcome our guest speaker for today's session, that is Encik Danial Muhammad Noor for Arcadisa webinar series. For your information, the Faculty of Art and Design, University Technology Mara, is honoured to virtually host the 5th Art, Craft and Design in the Southeast Asia International Conference, which is called Arcadisa, with a theme entitled Art, Craft and Design for Social Innovation and Sustainability Community. Arcadisa 2022 focuses on 3 creative fields that are visual arts, craft and design, and any related creativity fields that are interlinked and associate with the social innovation and sustainable community. With that being said, I hope that this webinar series will bring valuable information and also knowledge to everyone of us today, especially to those people who are engaged and involved in the art and design creative area, whereby I think with this knowledge, it will nurture your understanding and your application in the coming digitalization era. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Encik Danial Muhammad Noor to take the floor. Thank you very much and all the best to everyone who participates in today's webinar series.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rosita, for the welcoming speech. Now I will be sharing a video intro of our guest speaker for today. Now, I would like to tell a little bit about our guest speaker. So, Encik Danial Muhammad Noor is an interior designer / CGI artist based in Ampang Jaya. He also successfully retained culture and to become a universal designer, master of the arts and craft. He is always concerned on exploring 3D modeling beyond the scope of interior design as well as fashion clothing simulation. He also has a strong set of technical and practical skills on 3D making. Encik Daniel Muhammad Noor was an interior design intern at Glam Casa by Rizalman in 2018 and has assisted in selecting and preparing materials for the client's presentation. As for the development in 2D and 3D modeling, he did a collaboration with German clothing brand Silverstone Tech in 2020 and produced more than 30 plus designs until completion. Until now, he is still very active in producing expert scope of digital making for human figures and clothing. Now, I would like to welcome our guest speaker, Encik Daniel Muhammad. Hi, Encik Daniel. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hi, uh, we feel very grateful that you are able to join today. Without further ado, I think it's better if you present your talk for our webinar today.
Thank you, Ms. Adila. Welcome and a very good evening, everyone. Today, I will be talking about championing sustainability through virtual clothing, AI, and VR. Okay, can I have this slide, please? Thank you. Okay, so next. Previous. Previous. Thank you. So, in this webinar, I will be giving the definition of virtual fashion, AI, and VR, and we also will be talking about how AI and VR is on the fashion industry. Next, I will be talking about AI and VR programs used, works using this program, which I did, and the fashion in the metaverse, which also include pros and cons of AI and VR. So, AI and VR, what's next for Malaysian fashion, and conclusion. Next. So, what is virtual clothing? So, virtual clothing is virtual or digital clothing are not made of fabric or anything that is in physical form, but instead uses computer technologies and 2D software to make clothing that, well, you can't even feel it, but you can see it, and it could be used like for multiple purposes, for marketing, even for social media. Next. So this is the definition for AI and VR. So AI is artificial intelligence. It's the ability of a computer or a robot controlled by a computer to do tasks that are usually done by humans. Next is the virtual reality, which is VR. Virtual reality is a computer-generated environment that comes with scenes and objects that appear to be real, but making it the user feel that they are immersed in the surroundings. Next. So today, now I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence (AI) in fashion. Next. Okay. So as you can see in the slide, there's this video of a lady, and she's like holding her phone, and then there's this kind of filter going on her. So this is what we call AI, which does the motion tracking on the body, and the clothes will appear on the person using the filter. The next of it is a person. It's actually like a chef, where you can see like this man is spinning around, and the clothes even can show behind what is happening behind him and around him. So this is the magic of AI. They can actually track the motion, and even if whatever size that you are, you can track down and fit however it will fit. Next. This is the video for the brand. Are you able to hear me? In this video, it shows what the AI can be used in the fashion industry. Can be used to the video stream, in game, and even virtual calling. So calls like this one. Wherever you are, wherever you are, you can just try it. Next. There should be a slide. Okay, carry on. We will be talking about virtual reality in fashion. So, as you all know, virtual reality involves like technology where you can see the surrounding, but using the technology which is called virtual reality glasses. Which is this one. Sorry, this one. Next, please. So, here are the VR virtual reality headsets that we have in the industry. The top one is a cheap, well, not really cheap, it's quite expensive, but still affordable for many people. The first is the Google Daydream, Samsung Gear VR, and Google Cardboard. And the bottom is the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift. Those two are like expensive, but it's very high tech and can be used uh, very, how do I say it? Like, it's quite good for industry. Mostly high end people use it. So, uh, in terms of the fashion use of VR, uh, the people use it like for consumers can browse to the stores virtually and from home. And by using the VR glasses, they can simulate how the clothes would look on their body, simplifying the cost and time consuming negotiation process and the time consuming negotiation process between manufacturers and buyers. So as you can see in the video there, the person is actually looking into the stores and they can even see the price and all the clothes that are in the store. In the next week. This is a video of a virtual reality fashion show. As you can see, it's not actually reality. It's actually virtual. Everything is 3D made. It even comes with the motion and all that. If you are wearing the glasses, you can actually see and observe all the details in real time, and even like you can zoom in to see the details closely. Okay, so this is a comparison between physical fashion and digital fashion. So for physical fashion, you all know that it requires a lot of manpower for like carrying all the stuff and carrying all the fabric and all that. But for digital fashion, it does not require much manpower. It only requires like maybe two or three people to make the 3D design, and one or 2% can handle the website. Clients can try and see the website itself. So for physical fashion, also it contributes to a lot of landfill waste. It goes to like to the sea and all the plastic waste. For digital fashion, it's not is it contributes to almost zero waste, and uh, we all know that fashion industry is considered one of the largest polluters in the world by UN Conference of Trade and Development. So the environmental damage is only increasing as the industry grows. So the production and distribution of the fibers and garment use in fashion all contribute to different forms of environmental pollution that includes water, air, and soil pollution. So some of the main factors that create pollution are vast overproduction and overconsumption of fashion items and the use of synthetic fibers. So production of digital garments emit around like 97% less carbon dioxide than production of physical garments. So statistics show that during the production of garments, designers don't use sorry. So statistics show that during production, designers don't use water for digital designers unless they're using like the for drinking themselves. But so does production of a digital garment on average saves about 3,300 liters of water per item, which is enough for one person to drink 2 liters of water a day during around 3 to 4 years. And also for physical fashion, you only have to be there to try on this clothing. For digital fashion, you can even try virtually at home or anywhere just by using your phone. So there's an app for it, which is uh, called Fashion X or something. So yeah, you can try it on virtually. Okay. Okay. So these are the programs that are used by industry for AI and VR programs. So the first is the 3ds Max or Autodesk 3ds Max. Second is the Blender. Oh, sorry. Yeah. 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 Another is Marvelous Designer. Marvelous Designer, I use it quite a lot. It's quite easy to use, and the user interface is quite friendly for uh, amateurs and professional alike. For ZBrush, quite difficult to use. It's mostly professional use, and it's quite expensive to use. But for the details, you can use it quite detailed. You can even make all the curves and all that there for coding. For Spark AI, this is for making filters on Instagram or Facebook, where you can create a filter. It's not as easy as it sounds, but if you learn, if you go through their, introduction video, you can learn a bit about it for starting on. And Cinema 4D is also the same like ZBrush. It's quite detailed, but you can use it for animating and coding simulation. Next, these are the works that I have done. I've mostly done dresses because to me it's the simplest one I can think of. So the first three are just white dresses. These are made in actually made in Marvelous Designer, as I said before, then rendered in the studio. This software. Next. Video of how I made the dress. normally as a fashion designer would do that, they would do this what do you call it, the pattern or the sewing pattern for it. But as I am not a fashion designer myself, I just make it how I see it. And then you can just simulate the clothing to how you want it. Making this it actually took around 30 minutes. So I fast forward it. Okay, sure, sure. Okay. Okay. So as a fashion designer, we all would know that we will make the design pattern before sewing the clothes, right? So as I am not a fashion designer myself, I just do it how I see it, and it is by this way I just sew however I see, which is supposed to be wrong, but what matters is the outcome of it. So yeah, this is what I made. Uh, this is
Oh, cantik.
my designer anyway. Okay. Uh, okay. So this is the brand that I said before. This is the Silverton tag. I made this for around 2020, but this was actually I made it earlier in 2019, way back before pre-COVID actually. So back then I had a friend in Germany. His name was Konstantin Ricken. So he wanted me to design an underwear for him, for his brand actually, for his brand, which is called Silverton back then. Uh, so he asked me, can you make like a few renders of this underwear that I'm making, maybe like on a male model or something. So like I thought, okay, sure, why not? So I made one sample for him, which is this is actually the pre-production. Then later he changed the logo, so it changed to the new one, which is the on the top right, which is the current design. Which I got the sample from him for free, as I made it for him. So yeah, Silverton tag. Okay, next. Okay, so let's talk about something else, which is called metaverse. So welcome to the metaverse. The world is going to be more digital and it's not going to be in reverse. Next. So what metaverse is? It's actually a world where you imagine how do I say it? It's basically a virtual world environment where everybody has a character of their own, or as you call it, we call it avatar. So this character can be moved around in order to see and hear people around you in the virtual world. This enables you to partake in a different interaction similar to like a real world. Just in the term is virtually lah. So it's no secret that after since COVID-19 uh, has accelerated the process of human developing into more digital individual, spending around uh, 1.5 years indoors. So what would we do? Like uh, people want to feel a connection with other people. So this metaverse is actually made by Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook. Uh, so after he changed the name of Facebook to Meta, and then after that he just made metaverse. So it doesn't mean that this is the replacement of the real world. It's just that it's an extension of how we operate digitally, and enhancing our experiences. Uh, so in this world, users can enter the metaverse through the digital avatars, which means that they also have their own virtual wardrobes and closet. And then the idea of virtual fashion is that it has been gaining a lot of attention in the last couple of years thanks to the rise of startups offering and successfully selling virtual clothing. So it also relates to this new thing which is called the NFT, or non-fungible token, which is like an object you sell online, but you won't even get it. You just get something on the internet, probably an image or like a file. In this case, a clothing in the game, or not game, in the metaverse itself. But it's kind of similar to like an online game where you meet and talk with people, you meet and mingle with people. Okay, next. So yeah, so these are the few metaverse icons that are actually they're not even real people. They are actually virtual people who created by 3D artists, and they represent a lot of brands. Even so we can see here Honori. She's been in a lot of magazines and even uh, appeared as models for several companies, brands such as Versace and Dior, maybe a lot of companies actually. And the next one is Lil Michaela. She's been around as well. I think she's actually a person, a real person, but her face is covered by a digital face. I haven't really known who the real person behind Lil Michaela is, but everyone considers her as a digital artist, not digital artist, an icon in the metaverse. Next. So okay, so as we all know, uh, digital fashion, or AI and VR, it has its pros and pros, mostly pros, but it does have its cons. So next. So okay, so the pros are that for AI and VR clothing, anyone can try out new products and before buying all the clothing from home, just from home, or you can even try it on, but not even buy it because maybe you want to buy it for like in terms of metaverse, you can just buy it for your virtual character. Uh, so that's for metaverse. But if in real brands, you can just buy it, but the size would probably be okay. Anyway, stores can give virtual tours through the stores and allow customers to check out all the products from different multiple angles. They can actually like if they wear these glasses, you will be inside the store virtually, and you can explore all the options, and like you feel like you are there inside the store itself, even though all you see is just 3D, but it's there. Okay, the cons of it is that this technology is quite expensive at the moment. Okay. So far, I can tell that only the big brands are doing this, like uh, Balenciaga, Burberry, and even uh, so from an e-commerce perspective, it remains difficult to implement on a broad scale. And the second is that the effect on users' health. People are already claiming stress and anxiety from excessive screen time. So as we all know that VR and I, they all require like a screen, at least the smallest is a mobile phone. So you'll be staring at it all the time, and this actually is quite a bad thing as well. That you're already uh, you're on the screen all the time. So this makes it much, well, not worse, but it affects user health. Next. So what's next for Malaysian fashion, AI and VR? So emerging technologies today will be everyday tools in the future. But for the moment, I don't see any. Well, I don't see any at all. Any Malaysian artists, designers are doing this. Maybe we should like implement this so that we can be, how do you say it, like people will take notice of the brand and it will give them much more exposure than they need. Maybe it will be like more international scene. Okay, next. So this is quote by Bill Gates. The advanced technology is based on making it fit so that fit in so that you don't really notice it. So it becomes part of everyday life. So this is like saying one day what you see like in the VR and AI, you will be seeing it every day, and then you might even not be buying the real clothes itself. You'll be buying digital clothes, and you're using on your digital avatar, but you're not even buying it for yourself, or not on your body, maybe on your avatar's body. So this could probably be true, and I can see it happening very soon, actually. Next. So the conclusion is that we all know that COVID-19 has been affecting the world. It has made a strong case to redefine the way consumers shop, online shop, and what we deem as real fashion experiences. We believe that consumers will naturally lean towards fashion in AI and VR the same way that it has happened with online shopping. So we all know that at first, like online shopping has been around for a while, and it was kind of new to us back then. But now it's like you will be buying it every time. You'll be scrolling Shopee and all that. So it's not new anymore. But for today, the AI and VR in fashion is quite new. So I'm hoping it will be something we can look forward to in the future. Or maybe today actually. Thank you.
Okay, Encik Daniel, thank you so much for that very insightful talk. I think this is a fairly like very new territory where we are, like what the subject that you are talking about. So now we will move into our Q&A session. We actually have quite a few here. So the first one that I would like to ask you from our audiences is where do you see a virtual or digital fashion will go in 5 years' time? Like where do you see it heading?
From what I can say is that it's going to be quite common in the future. I think in just 3 years already, we can already see how NFT affects us all. So NFT, sorry, digital fashion uh, it correlates with NFT anyway. So uh, now that NFT is booming, we can really see how it will be how to say like affecting the fashion industry. And digital fashion will be like quite common that you won't see it as something rare anymore in the future. You will be seeing every day. Even you might be buying it yourself.
I
Fashion.
see. Because it has been a part of our life basically. Virtual fashion
Yeah.
has just been a part of our life in 5 years' time. I see. Okay, so the second question is, what challenges have you faced and could not forget while doing the virtual or digital fashion? Like, what do you feel like is the hardest part in terms of making digital fashion?
Okay. So like I said before, when I was working for that brand, Silverton Tech, back then it was like pre-COVID. It was like around 2019, end of 2019, and it was like, uh, well, my friend Constantine, he was from German, and I'm from Malaysia. So back then, even then, we had to connect somehow using virtually. But it still was difficult because I can't figure out what he wanted the material to be for his uh, underwear brand or brand whatever. Uh, so yeah, I think I would say that feeling the fabric itself or like knowing the size, because we all know that for European size and Asian size are different.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
So even in VR fashion, in digital fashion, also you need to know the right measurement for the clothing itself.
yeah, of course, because we all know that Asian
Mm,
people are small, smaller than European people. So
yep.
even like when I made the size itself, like it was a size M, but for them it's a size S or XS because they are like much bigger somehow. So I had to like scale it up like
I see.
1.5% of it just to make it fit like for them.
Mm,
Uh,
I
so yeah,
see.
it's quite
So
difficult.
I
Yeah,
wonder if you actually need to know a little bit about pattern making in order for you to come up with all these different like visual fashion clothing. Like, is it
yeah,
necessary for?
I do need because
I
it's easier to stitch the design like how you combine the pieces of together. It's easier if you know the pattern itself. If you're studying fashion, you will know it how the
Mm,
dress is combined, how the stitching is. But for me, I had to
mm.
learn it by myself. Like I had to Google and I had to watch YouTube and like how is a dress made? How
Yep.
what is the sewing pattern for this dress and so on? Because I didn't know. It was quite difficult for me because I was like,
I see.
how is this pattern connected to this other pattern, sewing pattern? Uh,
I see because you didn't come from a fashion background, right? So it's something that you have to like learn
yeah, yeah.
yourself. Okay. So the next question is from our Facebook account. This account asks, is it legit for any designers and brands in Malaysia to use this kind of VR and AI fashion for their business purposes? Do you think it's important that every designer or brands in Malaysia to use VR and AI for their businesses? Do you think it's important?
Okay. Let's say like uh, well, it's quite important even after like the peak of the COVID-19 strike. But then it was like quite difficult for brands to communicate with their clients and customers, right? So
Yep.
even like big brands, they struggle getting clients because of it. So of course they had to make like some adjustment to how people are going to buy the products and how they want to promote their products, like having fashion shows and all that. But
Yep.
uh, you can see like a lot of brands are closing down because of it. They don't know how to survive through this pandemic without even like you, you can't even ask the customers to come in all of it all the time because even now we have limits. We limited like maybe 10% in a store.
Yeah, true. So if you have
So like
something that is digital and virtual, it's easier for people to be involved without, getting in contact.
yeah. So like for
Mm.
even for small businesses, it will be quite good as well because it gives them exposure. You would never guess that, oh, this small company is doing something new. Like not even big brands are doing it, or maybe big brands are doing, but Like it's like as if they are a big brand themselves, even though they're small.
Yeah, true.
So it's
Also,
better for
I
them to
think
try this.
maybe it also
Yeah.
helps in terms of costing, I guess, because you don't
Oh yeah,
need
yeah,
to, go through production and all to advertise the clothing. You can just like, create it first digitally, and then if people respond to it, then you can go ahead and do like physical fashion, I guess.
yeah. It actually saves around 90% of like all the cost for manufacturing and even distribution.
90%.
Yeah, because
Mm,
imagine the only person that is doing all that is just maybe like 2 or 3% for making the 3D itself, 3D, and then you are paying maybe like for the food and snacks. But for the
mm.
physical one, you have to pay like for the labor, like you have to pay maybe for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like shipping and all that,
Yeah.
shipping and then all the manual labor lah.
Mm,
So
yeah, so you
in this
basically
way,
save
you don't have
cost.
to. Mm,
Save a lot of cost, manpower,
yeah.
energy, do it. Okay. Okay. So for our next question, do you think digital fashion can replace the fast fashion in the future?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Do do you think digital fashion can replace fast fashion in the future?
Oh, of
As
course, of
in,
course.
yeah. Oh, you think so? I
Yeah,
think,
because
yeah.
even now.
Mm,
Oh, sorry, sorry. Uh, what were you trying
sorry?
to say? Okay.
Oh yeah, no, because I apa ni recently I heard that even H&M, a fast fashion company, is also moving into the metaverse and selling their clothes digitally, right? So
Yeah.
definitely, I think yeah. What's your opinion on that, on digital
I think
fashion replacing?
it's actually like well, of course, fast fashion is like cheap and affordable, right? So
Yep.
people are of course definitely buying it, and then now they're saying that, oh, you can now just try it at home and you don't even try. You need to go to the shop itself to try. So like even I would like be thinking, oh, that's a good idea. Why should I just go to the store and try
Yeah.
something
True.
new when I just can just try it at home? And then
Mm.
so like, oh, okay, this size doesn't fit me. The M doesn't fit me. Maybe I should take this size. So you don't need to go back to the store just to try it and then okay, this size doesn't fit me. Then you don't have to waste money on returning the clothes, and you don't have to waste
Yeah.
money on maybe like uh
Purchasing something that you
maybe like
probably wouldn't even
yeah,
wear in the first place. Like buying.
you can just try and then say,
Okay.
I don't like this, so you don't have to return it. You just like change to the next picture, like okay, maybe this one I will try. Mm, quite
True.
easier like this.
So definitely. So you
I think
do
like this
think
is
that.
like becoming a movie. You imagine, yeah. You see like all these screens, all these big screens, and then you can just like swipe. Like okay, today I want to wear this one. Maybe not today. Maybe to this one. Uh,
Yeah, everyone is kind of like in the near future is going to live like they're in Sims game.
so I think yeah,
Okay,
it's quite
so moving on to
possible
our
that.
next question.
Okay, okay.
No, I keep going. If you have some more to say, like I would
Okay,
love
okay.
to hear
So
it
yeah,
actually.
yeah, it's that it's quite possible. It's actually it's quite possible that fast fashion is going to be replaced
Mm-hmm.
virtually because we all have to improvise anyway. So what way to go than virtually now? Even because everything is now virtual, might as well go for it. Even like you, they have a lot of money anyway for like H&M and all that. So by doing this,
Mm-hmm.
they actually save quite a lot of money. So isn't that a good thing for them?
Yeah,
Even for the customers
yeah,
itself, like we don't
definitely.
have to spend money to go to the shop itself. Like some people
Yeah,
don't live quite near to a mall, so yeah, it's quite easy for
yeah.
them.
It saves a lot of money, basically, and energy for both parties, for the brands and us as consumers. Okay, so the next question is from YouTube. Is there any reason why virtual fashion is not yet being applied in our local fashion industry? It hasn't been fully applied yet in our local fashion industry.
Well, to make this digital uh, come to life, you actually need quite an expensive machinery for it. You have to have like a powerful computer to render, to even make the clothes itself. Even I had trouble making it because my computer was not even powerful enough. So like imagine, uh,
I see.
yeah, you actually need like a computer that's worth around like 4 5,000 above, 4 5,000 ringgit above, just to have a computer that's decent enough to produce this 3D. So like even for small companies, it's quite expensive, but it's quite worth it. And then you have to hire you have to hire someone who's proficient in not graphic, sorry, 3D design, 3D modeling, and also have to have like fashion background as well. So it's quite difficult because
Yep, I see.
even for students who are taking in fashion, are you all learning how to make 3D
Oh
as well
no,
now?
we have not yet. I think maybe in the near future that is a subject that maybe need to be included in our syllabus probably. Yeah,
Yeah, of
especially for
course.
the diploma and
As
degree
you can see
students.
that now it's quite important.
Because I think it's a mixture of everything, right? If you are doing visual fashion, you need to know fashion and pattern making itself and knowing how to doing it digitally. Mm.
That's why I had to Google how to make the seams and all that. So it would be quite easier if you had a fashion background, and also maybe it would be better if I were a fashion designer or a fashion uh, graduate, and then I take a course in 3D making. That will make me much more
Yeah,
proficient in how making all this design. So yeah, it's quite
yeah.
difficult actually to start.
I think essentially it's difficult to find someone who is competent in all of those areas, like one person who can
Yeah,
do all of those things combined. I think we probably
it's
lack
usually
that
just one
in
person knows
our
one
local
thing.
industry. Yep. Okay. So the next question is also from YouTube. How do you see the future of metaverse in Malaysia, especially the fashion industry, and will the industry adapt to it?
Mm, to like it or not, we actually have to adapt to it, even if we don't like it at all, because it's actually quite inevitable to avoid metaverse. Yeah, like you see, everyone is using Facebook nowadays, so it's quite possible that even this stream is on Facebook itself. So so of course people will be interested in the metaverse anyway, because it's quite related to Facebook, and I'm sure Facebook will be promoting it all the time, like, okay, join metaverse, join metaverse. It's going to be, of course, in the United States first, and then slowly to Malaysia. Yeah, I think it's even coming now, but very few people know about the metaverse anyway. So
But definitely that is the future, and basically what you're saying is that we cannot escape it.
yeah,
Even if we want it or not, we have to get involved sooner or later, because that's gonna be like the next thing, in the future, in the near future, I guess.
so like
Mm.
imagine you're like uh, we usually see like advertising for Facebook, like they post pictures like, oh, I have this product I want to sell, I want to sell clothes. But then like
Mm.
all the imagine the makcik-makcik, they want to sell, but they don't know. Okay, I just want to sell this clothes, but I don't have any platform to sell it. So why don't I try Facebook? But Facebook nowadays is like flooded with all these all those advertisement already, right? So they have to try something new. They have to try metaverse anyway, just to like maybe up their game. Maybe people will be like more interested.
Yeah.
Oh, even this makcik is doing metaverse.
Even
So
makcik is
you
doing
all
it.
know we Malaysians like to follow trends, right? Like all the TikTok
Yeah.
trends. I'm sure all of you like to follow,
Yeah.
and I'm sure like one day Malaysian TikTokers will like talk about it anyway. I'm sure. I'm 100% sure Malaysian TikTokers will be talking about
Yeah.
metaverse, and they'll be talking like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's
why don't you all
just a
try
matter of
metaverse?
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then why don't you all like, okay, maybe like some famous YouTuber, Malaysian YouTuber say like, oh, I'm on metaverse, join me. I'm going to like maybe live stream there or make an activity there, and people will be joining
Soon
for
enough, the
sure.
metaverse is going to be the next social media.
Yeah, of course. It's the it's
Mm.
the it's the social revolution, I think. The
Yep.
digital revolution.
Yep. Definitely. Okay. Another question. From Facebook. She is asking, are there any Malaysian brands that already started to move to this method in selling their products? Do you know any local brands in Malaysia that already started doing digital fashion?
Um, Not that I know of, but I do see some brands they are um,
Mm-hmm.
slowly going there, but not yet. Like I can see
I
they're going
see.
for the digital way. They're doing like the
Mm,
mock-up for the shirt and all that. They just render it, and then they just see or the people can see the design on the shirt, but not virtually full. Like maybe they just rendered in photo, but they can't even go through yet. I do see some actually, maybe like one or
I see. I
one.
see.
Like it's quite rare now. It's quite rare now. Even overseas, it's quite rare also. But
Yeah,
uh,
I mean
the
it makes sense.
people there are
Basically,
going.
I
We
think a lot
follow
of
them.
brands internationally, yeah, they're going to digital, but actually it's still rare considering rare for like international brands to do like digital fashion too. Not a lot of them still. So it only makes sense that Malaysia is only gonna start. Maybe not now, but yeah, they're going
Soon.
to.
Yeah,
Mm,
we are just like waiting for them to show like something. Wow, okay, this is worth trying to do. Maybe this thing will improvise my sales and all that. Maybe
yep.
then they will do it.
Yeah.
But for now, they will still
So,
go for traditional way because now
mm,
actually uh, we are
yeah.
still going the traditional way, but maybe like digitalize it by going to Shopee and all that. Now still online shopping phase, not yet digital shopping um, method. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically move into the metaverse and digital fashion yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So next question also from Facebook. This person is asking, when do you start to learn this virtual fashion and what triggers you to learn this 3D modeling and all that for AI and VR fashion? Like, what triggers you to start learning about this?
Okay. So I started my diploma in 2015. So back then I already had some knowledge on 3D making. But then when I learned and I finished my diploma, I worked for a while. I worked for a while as a 3D maker uh, for an interior design company.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was like, oh, it's quite boring to do just all these blocks and blocks and blocks. No organic shape. Like all the buildings are all like blocks, like square. Then I
I
was like,
see.
why don't I try something organic? Why don't I try something that's not a building for once? Because uh,
Mm.
when you do it all the time, it can be quite boring for me.
Yeah.
Like that's why like people like to see, oh, maybe something organic shape inside. If you see like even famous architects in the world, one of it is called one of it. Her name was Zaha Hadid. She's passed away already, but her design is mostly organic shape, or in their language, the term is deconstructivism.
Deconstruction.
So yeah,
I think I know
yeah,
it's
something
more
like that.
like
But
curvy, right? Her designs are
yes,
more like
yes,
curvy.
yes, yes.
One,
Uh,
I know one building in Korea, in Dongdaemun, isn't it? This Dongdaemun Design Center or something.
oh yeah, the curvy wavy shape like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh, I think that was by her, by Zahadi as well. I think
yeah,
probably
yeah.
as well.
I think that was
But
by Zaha
she
Hadid.
she was named the Queen of Waviness or something. The
Oh,
wavy
really?
queen or something.
Mm.
Yeah. But from there I was like, oh, I wanted to try something new. So I started making like just, but then I had no knowledge on making human or clothing figure. So I just um, actually the figure I downloaded from another website. Then I just tried to make the figure like, oh, I just changed the shape of the face. So the face, then I started with the face, then the eyes and all that, then the hair, then only then I started with the body.
I
But then
see.
when I made the body, the model couldn't be naked all the time. So I had to start like, I should
I need
make
to start
clothing as well.
putting clothes on them. Mm.
Uh, so yeah, that's why maybe I should just make clothing myself instead of just let them be naked.
Yeah.
So but even then, if I wanted to download clothing which is available, it can't even fit my model. Like not all models are the same size. Not
Yep.
model like, so yeah, I just make them. That was like back in 2019 or something. No, 2018 actually. After my diploma, I started making it. So yeah, I started back
Mm.
then, and now here I am making making 3D models
Yeah.
all the time.
Sometimes we don't know, right? Sometimes we don't know, like, we can just try out something, and apparently, like, that's really where our passion is. So we kind of
Yeah.
go full force when we and realize, like, oh, this is actually what I really want to do. Mm. Okay, so we have another question. Do you Is there any retention between kejap to read this question properly? You said that you are an interior designer base, right? So is
Mhm.
there any retention between it and fashion? Retention between it or relation. Salah je lah tu. Relation. Is there any relation between interior
Oh,
design
relation.
and fashion?
Yes, there is actually.
What
Uh,
do you think is the relation?
uh, okay. So even the name itself is interior design, and then for you guys, it's fashion design.
Fashion design.
So it's still a design, just that the design is on a building, on a room, or something else. But say the design, and then even uh, we have this. Well, the people who make the interior design for the fashion retail store is interior designers as well. So it somehow,
Yep.
yeah.
I see, I
So
see. Do you
uh,
mean
you,
visual merchandising?
yeah, visual merchandising. So like
I see, I
for
see,
the
I see.
interior, for maybe uh, Louis Vuitton, they even hire people to make their own store, right? So even if you all know the late Virgil Abloh, the men's designer for LV, he was an
Okay.
architect. He
Oh,
was
I
an
didn't know
architect.
that.
Yeah. So imagine
Mm.
from someone from an architect background becoming the lead men's designer for LV. So how did that go?
The upload.
Yeah, Virgil Abloh. He's
Oh,
passed
I
away
see. I
already.
didn't hear you
But
just
yeah,
now.
he's an architect. He was an architect. I think he still
Yeah, yeah, he was.
is,
He was
but
like he studied
he was sorry.
architecture before this.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
see, I see,
yeah.
I see.
Imagine someone from architecture background can go into fashion and becoming the men's designer,
Succeed.
men's lead designer.
Yeah.
An architect has a relation to fashion. Fashion. Now and you mentioned interior designer. We also have like we study about fabric as well. Fabric, maybe like for
Oh, I
furnitures and all that.
see.
So yeah, we have
Mm.
fabric,
I guess
and then
it also relates to
furniture design.
I see. Because I mean, I know that yeah, because architecture is about, you know, like studying structure kan. So in fashion also, like you need to study like the structure of the human form, the structure of
Yes.
the clothing that you are making. So it also can interrelate to that when you are doing pattern making. If you study architecture in terms of structure of clothing. So okay. So moving on to our very last question. This person is asking, where can I learn this digital fashion? Is there any short course that maybe I can sign up to?
As of now, I think there are some classes, but not locally. Maybe you have to try like from overseas. I'm sure there are some. Actually, I've, I've wanted to look into it as well because I've been wanting to try selling my own clothes as NFT myself, like maybe on the
Mm-hmm.
metaverse. Because
I see.
I had to try it somehow. Surely
Mm,
someone will buy it. At least this is something new.
inshallah. Basically, for the short courses, you need to it can be online, right? But it's from like
Yeah,
international
definitely.
companies that provide.
I'm sure like there are like this one company and then they make it like for international students, but the student have to be like they have to accept what time the lecturer or the lecture starts because not everyone is living on the same time zone. So
Yep,
you
yep.
have
True.
that's the problem. For it. Unless if I make the class myself, but that will be possible after I learn from this person myself.
I see. Maybe you can do classes for our local artists.
Yeah, yeah.
To help us all get started on digital fashion making. Okay,
But I need to attend
I
it first.
sorry.
But I need to attend the class as well first before I can make the class myself.
Yeah, once you are very like confident with your new, but I think you are actually doing very well in terms of the work that you have already done, which I think can be beneficial to everyone who would love to learn from you.
It takes time to learn.
Mm,
So maybe in future, I hope so. I hope there will be some designers who are taking maybe like they hire 3D makers to make their own design virtually.
I see, I see, I see. Okay. I think another question that I have, this is coming from me, right? I would like to know when you talk about those pros and cons, right? About in terms of um, wastage when you do like physical type clothing over doing digital clothing. Um, do you like which pros and cons do you think is worse? Like, do you think the cons of digital fashion is worse or the cons of physical clothing and fashion is worse?
Okay, I think for me, is physical fashion is worse because you're contributing to a lot of waste actually, like tons and tons of
Mm.
waste. Then you're producing carbon dioxide like a lot. So your carbon footprint is like quite a lot as well. So like if you were to do digital fashion, the only thing that you will be making is just waste of electricity. Like you're rendering the clothing. That's the only thing you'll be wasting, and maybe like water, but just like for the person who's making it, sure they must be thirsty or something. So yeah, only that you are wasting because like for physical garment you have to like you need water, you need what else like manpower, and manpower requires like you to move stuff, maybe like to
Yeah.
shipping, and you have to carry all those stuff using
Mm.
lorry and all that, and that one also causes pollution.
Mm. I think
Like
also
that.
when you talk when you talk about sustainability, it also goes back to the people who are actually creating the clothing, the physical clothing that we actually wear, right? So that actually, like, I think saves a lot of the people who are actually not receiving enough money. Like we hear from manpower, like seamstresses, people who actually sew our clothes from Bangladesh and from Vietnam. They're all like not even getting the minimum wage that they need to survive just sewing our these mass-produced clothes, such as places, brands like H&M. So like when you talk about like digital fashion, I'm thinking about like, wow, like how much we can save in terms of these people who are, like they don't actually have to be used by these big companies to contribute to this more disastrous and basically being more harmful to our environment and the people who work for them. Yeah, that's what I think about that. Also another question that I have, like, when you say, like brands are actually thinking about the cost, right? The cost of moving into digital fashion, because digital fashion, or like what you said just now, the equipment can be expensive, or the software and the what, like the things that you would need from to create digital fashion can be expensive. But don't you think that it also means that we are, even though it's costly in the beginning, that can actually save a lot of money and energy and time in the long term, because you're only just like purchasing one for this time only, but then you can like use it over and over again without having to like produce every drop of clothing every single month, which will essentially be more more, like will cost you more money than to just like just purchase one time, and then you can just like save a lot of money as you go through the brand, as you go through the business.
Yeah, I mean, like for like mid-range desktop, you only cost you about 5,000 at least. And then you only buy it once, and then for the software, like for 3D Max, I think it will be around 3,000 or $1,000 dollar. So how much is, so like let's say around 4,000 ringgit plus 5,000 for the desktop, and then maybe like you pay the worker as well. So that worker, so maybe like the worker is only like one or two people. So times two, maybe like you are spending around roughly 20,000 just for
Mm,
your setup,
I see.
instead of comparing to like you're paying much more to just ship all the stuff, and then all you have to buy the fabric itself.
I see. So I guess it comes down to maybe we need to educate. Maybe you, like, because since you are more, you have more experience in this, and you know how much it can save our environment and be more sustainable for the future of our fashion industry. Maybe you can educate more on how much that can actually save a lot of our local brands in the long term if they actually move into digital fashion. Inshallah.
Even
Okay. So yeah. You have anything to add?
oh, okay. I was like trying to say about like even like for for the labor of physical fashion, like some big brands, they use child labor for it. So and then they only
Yeah.
get paid for like a few cents only per day. So imagine how
Mm-hmm.
sad that is for
Yeah.
them. Then they are forced to do it like maybe more than our average working time just to
Yeah.
live a normal, not really normal. I think they will
Bare
be living a
minimum
poor
life.
life, but bare minimum life. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be potentially well, not completely removed, but it's a way that we can reduce that in
Downsize.
happening.
Mm.
Downside.
Reduce it, right? Okay. I think that is all the time that we have for today's webinar. With that, I hope that this fruitful discussion has been beneficial to all of us and help us gain some insights on how we can help and do our part to make sure that our industry continuously work towards sustainability now and in the future. I hope all of you have enjoyed this webinar, and thank you so much, Encik Daniel, for contributing and giving your insights and showing us a process and all that. Like, it has been like very interesting for all of us, and we are very thankful that you are actually here with us tonight. Okay, do you have any last words?
Thank you. Um, well, I just hope that one day all the local designers will take the, well, like now people are still struggling to find jobs,
Mm-hmm.
not just like for my field of work, but even like for um, even, well, a lot of people are losing their jobs anyway nowadays. But I hope that they will take these graphic designers or 3D makers to make their clothing one day, because like by
Mm-hmm.
then they would know like, oh, these people are actually worth a lot of uh, well, a lot of money to them, and they could be useful in the long run, especially now that the metaverse is like going crazy, it's like booming around. It's time to look onto them.
I see, I see, I see. Okay, Encik Daniel, thank you so much. We are so glad to have you. So, before we end this webinar, you can follow, everyone can go follow, like, share, and subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel at Arcadesa 5 to follow our content and to find out more on our next webinar. That is all from all of us at Arcadesa. Thank you and have a good night.